Are we supposed to leave this meeting now and go to the next one? Could someone please tell us what we're supposed to be doing here?
We're doing the second meeting.
So
There were two meetings. We finished that one and closed it down, and now we have the council public meeting 2820. There's 2 items in it. There were 2, and now there's only 1.
Mr. Mayor,
Thank you. I just didn't know whether we had to sign off here and sign on again.
We've just done that now.
Thank you.
So we're ready to go. So at this point in time, I will ask someone to adopt the agenda. Let me explain right off the bat. I can tell you that JD Properties and JPD Properties, on behalf of Richmond Hill Honda, have just informed the city that they have withdrawn their application for an automobile dealership for the site and Performance Drive, and such as the item will be withdrawn from tonight's motion. They have been cited business reasons for the decision, namely that Honda Canada would not endorse that location as a outlet. I find that very interesting. However, that's what happened. So we only have the one before us. So with that, then, can I have a mover and seconder to adopt the agenda of 1? Councilor Pirelli, Councilor West, thank you all very much. All those in favor, opposed? Just get a disclosure of pecuniary interest and the nature thereof with any members of council. Seeing none, thank you. And so we will move out onto SRPRS 220098 and request for comments, official plan amendment and zoning. And our staff, Doris Cheng, will explain the application to us. Oh, hang on, I gotta read the list again. We should send one of these to everybody who listens. If a person or public body does not make an oral submission at a public meeting or make written submission up to the city of Richmond Hill in respect of a proposed official plan meeting, zoning bylaw amendment, and or plan of subdivision or condominium, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal to the decision of the LPAT tribunal and may not be added to as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the LPAT. In the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So if that is the case, then this is what the meeting is for you to make any comments you wish if you've chosen to do that. Okay, thank you. Now we should go back to Ms. Chen.
Good evening, Mayor Barrows, members of council, and members of the public. This portion of the council public meeting is for a site-specific application for official plan and zoning bylaw amendment applications for the lands municipally known as 0 Orlando Avenue and 0 Brody Drive. Next slide, please. The subject lands are located at the southeast corner of Leslie Street and Orlando Avenue. The lands are comprised of 2 separate parcels with a total combined area of approximately 4.24 hectares or 10.48 acres and are currently vacant. The parcels are separated by a city-owned property containing the Hendricks Brody Heritage House. The lands at 0 Orlando Avenue has frontage on Leslie Street, Orlando Avenue, and Brody Drive, while the second parcel has frontage on Leslie Street and Brody Drive. The property is about a small retail commercial plaza and a self-storage facility to the south. Orlando Avenue and vacant employment lands are to the north. Brody Avenue, industrial commercial buildings, and a Canada Post facility is located to the east. And to the west is Leslie Street, a low-density residential neighborhood and a place of worship. The lands are designated employment area in the city's official plan and are located in the city's Headford Business Park area. Permitted uses include a range of high-performance industrial and office uses, including high-tech industries, knowledge-based businesses, manufacturing plants, corporate headquarters, and research and development facilities. Employment areas also permit secondary uses, including limited accessory retail sales for goods which have been manufactured on the premises, day nurseries, and ancillary commercial uses. While a designation also permits automotive service, commercial, and automotive repair uses, these permissions are currently restricted to the Newkirk Business Park area. In accordance with city current policies, automobile dealerships are not permitted on lands designated as employment area. And as such, any request to permit the use is considered to be an employment land conversion subject to a municipal comprehensive review. The region is currently undertaking the municipal comprehensive review with respect to employment area conversions, which will be considered as part of the Region of York's official plan update. Of the number of employment land conversion requests, region and city staff are considering this request to permit automobile dealerships on these designated employment areas. As noted earlier, on February 26th of this year, city staff brought forward a report outlining the city's input into the municipal comprehensive review process. At the meeting, council adopted a number of staff's recommendations, including support to broaden the list of permitted uses in employment land areas. As such, as heard earlier this evening, city staff are undertaking a municipally initiated official plan amendment to expand the list of permitted uses to include automobile sales, repair, and service within employment area designations. Staff are reviewing this site-specific application concurrently with the municipally initiated official plan amendment and in the context of the municipal comprehensive review. In addition to the official plan amendment, the applicant has submitted a zoning bylaw amendment application. Currently, the subject lands are zoned high performance commercial industrial or MC1 zone under bylaw 150-80 as amended, which permits warehousing, assembly and manufacturing of goods and materials, research and development facilities, data processing centers, ancillary retail sales, banks and financial establishments, technical and commercial schools, restaurants, parking garages, businesses and professional offices, and hotels. Retail sales are not permitted, and as such, the applicant is proposing to rezone the subject lands to add a site-specific exception to permit automobile dealerships and accessory uses, as well as site-specific development standards to facilitate the subject proposal. Next slide, please. The applicant is seeking to amend the official plan and zoning bylaw amendment applications to permit 3 automobile dealerships on its land holdings. Each dealership is proposed to be comprised of a 2-story motor vehicle sales building, which will include a showroom, office space, automobile rental center, and service repair facilities and associated parking. Staff have circulated the applications to internal departments and external agencies for a review and comment. The purpose of this report is to provide council and the public with an overview of the applicant's development proposal and has been structured for the information purposes only, with the recommendation that all comments be referred back to staff for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the applicant, is it Kerrigan Kelly? It's just coming on now.
I'm here.
There you are.
Yes. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, and members of the public. My name is Kerrigan Kelly, and I'm with Groundswell Urban Planners. I'm also joined this evening by Mr. Blair Wolk of Orlando, whom you heard from earlier this evening for item 18.1. If there are any questions that I'm unable to answer, I may call upon Mr. Wolk to assist me. The slide that you have in front of you is just a simple aerial context plan showing the location of the subject lands, and I'm going to leave that slide on for the majority of my presentation. As noted in staff's report, we submitted these applications for an official plan amendment and a zoning bylaw amendment in 2007, specifically, the spring of 2017, so roughly 3 years ago. And due to the consideration of our application as a conversion, we have been working with city and regional staff over the last couple of years to review this use within employment areas throughout the city as defined by the official plan. We're pleased that we could proceed to a statutory meeting this evening as the next step to processing our amendments. I will attempt not to overlap with what Ms. Cheng had to say this evening. And as I have noted, we are interested in moving forward with this application and hearing from members of the public. We've read the report that has been presented for information this evening, and we have a few comments that we'd like to identify and maybe get some clarification on with respect to the applications. As a result of the city's official plan policies, and as Ms. Cheng has stated, we've been categorized as a conversion, which then requires additional consultation with the Region of York regarding automotive sales establishment in employment areas. We're pleased that the city and the region both recognize the need to review and update defined uses within their policy documents, along with where they should be directed from a land use perspective. We believe that these uses generate a substantial economic benefit to the municipality and offer convenience to local residents in terms of purchasing and servicing their vehicles. Orlando has owned this land for quite a bit of time. It is their subdivision that they originally had approved through the then town, now city of Richmond Hill. And over the last 15 years, they have attempted to bring a number of businesses to this location, a number of types of businesses. And for various reasons, those other businesses were not interested in locating here. These dealerships all have their own style, which is clean, modern, streamlined. Everything is enclosed. There's minimal inventory of new cars on the site as they're brought in based on customer requests and purchases. Ryan, if I could ask you to scroll slowly through pages 4 through 11. I've included some preliminary renderings that are generally consistent with some other dealerships that have been constructed from brands that very likely could end up locating here if this is approved. Service vehicles constitute, the service of the vehicles within these dealerships is what constitutes the majority of the activity, both from traffic to the site as well as economic benefit. This is an excellent use for an employment zone. These employees are skilled. They receive a substantial amount of training to become licensed mechanics or service professionals in these dealerships. And they are good tax generators. They generate, as Mr. Rogers has said earlier this evening, they've generated quite a bit of development charge benefits, both to the city as well as to the region. The location that is proposed along Leslie Street is also consistent with what other municipalities are doing with their automotive vehicle establishments. If you look into other municipalities within York Region, such as Newmarket, Aurora, Vaughan, Markham, they're all permitting these uses on either regionally significant corridors or, in the case of Vaughan, along the 400. So a decision to approve this use along Leslie Street in this employment area is consistent with other municipalities.
1 minute.
Pardon?
1 minute.
Thank you. We firmly believe that Yonge Street should be reserved for uses that benefit from transit and the investment that the region of York has made and the province of Ontario has made there within the last few years. In terms of noise and disruption, it's also a better alternative to some of the other uses that are permitted as of right. And Ms. Chang has identified some of those uses. This use directs service and any noise to enclosed areas and proposes a high level of architectural and design to the front of the building, which would be closest to the adjacent community to the west. I'll try to skim quickly to meet my time constraints. We note on the report, page 5, bottom of the page, prior to the enactment of the zoning bylaw, a site plan application must be submitted in order to inform the implementing zoning for the lands. We're concerned about this statement because we don't believe that a site plan application is required for the approval of a zoning bylaw amendment, but we are open to discussing this with staff at the appropriate time. We also note that there's a significant amount of studies and reports that have been done for the Hendricks Brody Heritage Site, and we are looking forward to discussing the future of this house with the city and staff. Our position is that we have not yet heard from the public. We're very interested in doing so tonight. We're excited that we're moving forward through the process after 3 years, and we'll try our best to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. We also have one delegation. No, that was you. Delegation. So that's it. We don't have any. So we'll go back to Councilor Liu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much, staff, for the report, and thank you very much for the applicant. First and foremost, I would like to make it very clear that Richmond Hill is always open for business. This application is just the wrong application at the wrong place. I'm not going to repeat myself what I said during the last meeting. It's unfortunate that due to its close proximity to residential, I cannot support this, and I will ask staff to continue to work with the applicant. Hopefully we can find a better location that both satisfy the applicant and council. preferably the Yonge Street corridor. So I'm going to move the staff recommendation that all comments refer back to staff. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for the referral? Motion back, Councillor West. Okay, any other comments by anybody at this point in time? Go ahead, Councillor Chan.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, staff, and thank you for the applicant. I hear what Councillor Neil is saying. We heard in our last meeting. Certainly, residents who live across the street from this site are concerned. There's no doubt about it. Proximity to a residential neighborhood. However, now we are talking about specific to this application, not dealing with approving or not. So I want to emphasize that, and certainly I fully understand the public sentiments, particularly on the west side of Leicester Street, both north of 16 and also south of 16. So I will echo that comment that Councillor Neil mentioned. But specifically in relation to this specific application, while we are offering comments, I just want to seek clarification perhaps to the planning staff. On page 11, the staff report, it mentioned about development engineering at this point in time is concerned about the intersection at Leslie and 16, because potentially more traffic may be making turns right or left there. Is any consideration being given to Vocal Row and 16th Avenue as well? Because some of these B and C, I believe, as well as A, for the plan here, people could come in through Vocal Row then to Broadway. So the question to the Commissioner of Planning or the staff, why is Vocal Row and 16 not mentioned in consideration for traffic?
Who's speaking on this? We have staff speaking, please.
I can't hear anything.
Sorry.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's Deb Janetta. These are a summation of development engineering division comments on the application. They specifically didn't include that particular intersection. However, we can ask them to ensure that that is part of the consideration as we move forward with the application, if there are specific concerns in that regard with that intersection.
Okay, thank you. Whether this application will eventually be approved by council, it's left for another day. It's not for tonight. But to the extent that what's being presented to us, I think in terms of the buffer, the landscape buffer in terms of shielding from any visibility along on Leslie Street, whether right across where the residents are or for other views, perhaps it could be more streamed towards Broadway and Orlando, where there's no residential properties over there. So it's something for consideration. And the last thing is that perhaps maybe I miss it when the agents for applicant presenting the slides. One is talking about Beaver Creek Business Park bylaw. And I thought we're talking about this site is at Hertford Business Park. So I'm not sure, maybe our staff can help us. What's the relationship? What's the agents of the applicant try to impress upon us here? Maybe it should be direct to staff through Mr. Chair.
Ms. Kelly can answer that. She's got her.
Okay.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm just looking at slide number 6. I think that's the slide that the councillor was referring to. And
yeah, I saw Beaver Creek Business Park.
Yes, I'm looking at that now. And I believe it's simply a typo. However embarrassing that is for me, it should be Hertford Park. So I apologize for that.
Hertford Park, Business Park, good.
Thank
but
you.
Your applicant is, as Councillor Neil said, always open for business. You could invest in Beaver Creek Business Park, just not auto dealership at this time. Thank you. No more question or comments. Thank you.
Okay. Then we have the motion. Everything referred back to staff. All those in favor? Opposed? That carries.
Move for adjournment.
Thank you. Move for adjournment. Seconder, Councilor Silovitz. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.